prayer rise up like incense before you, the lifting up of my hands as an offering to you. Oh God, I call to you, come to me now. Oh, hear my voice when I cry to you. Let my prayer rise up like incense before you, the lifting up of my hands as an offering to you. Keep watch within me, God, deep in my heart. May the light of your love be burning bright. Let my prayer rise up like incense before you, the lifting up of my hands as an offering to you. All praise to the God of all, creator of life. All praise be to Christ and the Spirit of love. Let my prayer rise up like incense before you, the lifting up of my hands as an offering to you.
Well, welcome to our final Wednesday service in Advent here, and I hope they were meaningful to you. They were certainly meaningful to me as I was preparing for them. But now it sort of seems a little rushed since we have service on Wednesday for our last Wednesday, and then we go into Thursday of Christmas Eve and Friday Christmas, and then Sunday we're going to go live with our regular Sunday worship, and so it's just like, oh my goodness, things are moving along really very fast. So I hope you have time to enjoy it. I hope you have time to enjoy it with family, whatever family is around during this time, and please do so safely, and just remember that God is with us. I talked to it's important to understand that God is with us all the time. So we've been talking about laments this Advent season, and the first two Wednesdays dealt with this deep longing, this deep sorrow and despair that laments have. You get this feeling, and you've heard me talk about this feeling in your gut and in your shoulders and your head, and you know, your pastor goes through this also, and trust me on that. And there is so much pain, there is so much division in this world, and there is plenty to grieve about, and we should be actively grieving. We need to look at those things that are causing us to grieve and lift them up. And deal with them and try to work them through, and not be so quick to rush through them. And you've heard me say that, and especially not don't listen to those people that are saying, oh, you know, you should get over it finally. Don't listen to that either, and just deal with your grief, deal with your lament the way you need to, like we talked about, expressing that, especially either in written form or verbally. There is a term called compound grief, and this is what happens when we don't deal with these griefs, things that are causing us sorrow, or these things that are causing the grief. And then another one comes. And trust me, you know, there will be others that will come here, and they just sort of get piled on top of each other, one after the other, the next one, and the next one, and eventually, I'll guarantee you, it will come spilling out, and it will come spilling out as a flood, and that's when we get into trouble, because sometimes then we might think like, oh, I can't deal with this, and then we get into other situations where we might feel like we have to hurt ourselves. And so it's important to work through them, to talk through them, and as your pastor, if you need help with that, please let me know. As we deal with this pain and grief, it is important, though, in our second part of our lament, is that we do have hope, and it's that things will get better, and usually it's as believers, it's our hope in God. The Greek word for hope is elpis, and that's the noun part for hope. And if the hope is used as a verb, it's elpisio. And it's surprising how many times hope is found in the New Testament. It's found 84 times. And it's our hope that God will make things better. And it's much deeper when it's written in these words. It's much, deeper than, a wish. Oh, I hope I win the lottery. Well, if you don't play it, you're not going to win it. So I won't win it. But it's this confidence. It's this, confident expectation that God will work in this situation, and that's huge. So it's together with hope and faith and trust in God. So all those three words in the Bible, especially in the New Testament, are synonymous with each other. And the key thing is that hope is active. It's not passive. We don't sit in our chair and just sort of wait for it to happen and express our hope. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5:8, the author says, "Put your hope on your head like a helmet, a hope of our salvation." And one of my favorite things, I have a number of favorite verses, but one of the things that calls me to be ready is 1 Peter 3:15. 1 Peter 3:15 says, "Always be ready to give a reason for the hope that you have." So when people ask you, "Gosh, why are you different? What's the hope that what's going on here? What's the reason why you are the way you are?" You need to be ready to share, your love of Christ with them. So that's important too. So it's an active and it's not passive, and we need to be ready every day. It's like putting on our clothes. We need to put on our helmet every day, our helmet of hope. And we also need to be ready every day, because we never know when people will come and ask us, what's going on with us. So that's important too. But when we finally get to, truly live our yets and our buts, as you see in our Psalms, those are the turning points. That's when we go from depression to our hope. That it's a future thing. It's directed towards the future. Yet I'm going to continue hoping on the Lord or trusting in God. But all this, despite of everything, I'm going to put my faith in God. And so it's a future tense. And then the important thing to remember is when we do get what we ask for, when we have that hope, when we place our hope and it does come true, well, then it's no longer hope anymore, because it does come true. And so it's always in the future, always. And you have to remember that our ultimate hope is Jesus coming again. And that's why we talk about this during our Advent season. Jesus coming again and making things right, and so we can be part of the eternal salvation and this restoration of this earth that is just being pummeled every day. So what I want to do is I want to read to you some of the hopes that our congregation has has emailed me. I hope I can bring a ray of light every day in some person's life. I hope we can all hug soon. And again, that's a future tense. You know, we will hug soon, but we can't do it now. We shouldn't do it now because it's not safe. But it's sort of funny is that once we get to that point where we can hug, well, then that hope in this part here ceases. It stops because we're able to do it, but not yet, not yet. And I hope that the elderly will not feel isolated and alone. We also have another member who is, my hope is for our future, is that, you know, the world works together for the best of everyone and we start getting rid of this virus, and then we can put our attention to saving this planet. And our last one was, my hope is for mankind to count their blessings instead of dwelling on what COVID-19 took from them. So there's blessings involved from that. I hope that the vaccine controls the pandemic and eventually eliminates COVID-19. And I hope love and grace will replace hatred and blame. That's a great hope. I want to share with two things, and then we'll finish with our Advent service here so you can get on and listen to Sarah sing and to Bridget playing our Holden evening prayer service. But one of my favorite verses is Romans 15:13. And I remembered as I struggled with my illness, this is one of those things that I hope, you know, I place my hope in this verse. So if you want to look it up and write it down, that'd be great. But if you want to just, you know, read it with me, that would be fine too. And first of all, this is the God of all hope. And it reminds me that, I mean, and as I read through some of the hopes that were given to me last week and this week, some of them are, you know, get rid of blame and hatred. Oh my goodness, what a great hope. And they're all great hopes. But some of them, like COVID-19, eliminate that. I hope we can eliminate that in the near future. You know, it might be 6 months, it might be 8 months, but now, you know, with hopefully the vaccine will take care of that. But boy, you know, so, you know, that's a good thing to wish for. That's a good thing to put our confidence in. But boy, to get rid of hatred and blame, oh my goodness, that's going to take a long time. And it might have to wait until Jesus comes again to restore, you know, so the God of all hope, even the hope of this, you know, virus to eliminate this, but also to get rid of hatred and blame. I mean, those are big hopes, but one of them is bigger than the other, you know. And so this is the thing in terms of what the start of this verse talks about. God is the God of all of these hopes, you know. Even though I hope I get that car, you know, that empty space at Hy-Vee, I hope I get that. Well, that's more of a wish, and it's still a hope. And maybe God will do that to you. That's a whole nother theology that I don't want to get into here today. But he takes the trivial ones that we might not think as trivial, but others would. But he also takes the huge ones like eliminating blame and hope. Okay, because he's the God of all hopes, small or large. And that's why I love that part of the verse. So I can bring my hopes to him regardless if they're small or large, because this is the God of all hopes. Then it goes and continues, and who has called you to eternal glory. So that reminds me of my place in God's kingdom. And that gives me whatever I'm going through, that gives me this rest and assurance that I have been called to God's eternal glory. And that will come someday. And then it continues, it goes after a little time of struggling. And I'll tell you, you know, some days are better than others. And sometimes my health is very good and sometimes it's not. And so I know this part. And I know those of you who are struggling with living and struggling with health issues, struggling with family issues, you understand this part also. And after a little time of struggle, God is saying that it's not going to be easy here. It's just not going to be easy. But be patient, because then it continues. will make you strong, steadfast, and firm. And it's like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to be strong, steadfast, and firm. Some of you know that my granddaughter's with us for a while, and to one day to be able to run after her. Maybe it won't happen on this earth, maybe it will have to happen in heaven, but to be able to run with my grandchildren and just instead of being confined to a walker and stumbling around, oh my goodness, maybe not here on this earth. So that's just a great prayer. That's just a great verse for me to sort of lock in when things are not as good as I want them to be. I want to tell you finally in terms of how God works. You know, in many cases, you know this to be true. But as I was preparing for this, I listen to music. I have music in the background, and I was preparing for this. And, you think of all the songs I could be playing, and then, well, maybe not all of them because I don't have them on my computer, but I love listening to 10th Avenue North. And they have a title here, and it's called I Have This Hope. And that was the song that was being played there as I was preparing. And the final words is this: but I have this hope in the depth of my soul, in the flood or the fire, you're with me, you won't let go. Whatever our fire, whatever our flood, we have this hope that God is with us. God is with me, and God will never let go. Amen.
An angel went from God to a town called Nazareth, to a woman whose name was Mary. The angel said to her, rejoice, O highly favored, for God is with you. You shall bear a child, and his name shall be Jesus, the chosen one of God Most High. And Mary said, I am the servant of my God. I live to do your will. My soul proclaims your greatness, O God, and my spirit rejoices in peace and salvation we pray to you. God of mercy, hold us in love. For peace between nations, for peace between peoples. God of mercy, hold us in love. For us who are gathered to worship and praise you. God of mercy, hold us in love. For all of your servants who live out your gospel. God of mercy, hold us in love. For all those who govern, that justice might guide them. God of mercy, hold us in love. For all those who labor in service to others. God of mercy, hold us in love. Grant weather that nourishes all of creation. God of mercy, hold us in love. Keep watch on our loved ones and keep us from danger. God of mercy, hold us in love. For all the beloved who rest in your mercy. Help us, comfort us all of our days. Keep us, hold us, gracious God. Let us bless our God, praise and thanks to you. May God Creator bless us and keep us. May Christ be ever light for our lives. May the Spirit of love be our guide and path for all of our days. Jesus Christ, you are the light of the world, the light no darkness can overcome. Stay with us now, for it is evening, and the day is almost over. Let your light scatter the darkness and shine within your people here. Joyous light of heavenly glory, loving glow of God's own face, you who sing creation's story, shine on every land and race. Now as evening falls around us, we shall raise our songs to you. God of daybreak, God of shadows, come and light our hearts anew. In the stars that grace the darkness, in the blazing sun of dawn, in the light of peace and wisdom, we can hear your quiet song. Love that fills the night with wonder, love that splendor, every dancing star of night, make us shine with gentle justice. Let us each reflect your light. Mighty God of all creation, gentle Christ who lights our way, loving Spirit of salvation, lead us on to endless day. May God be with you all, and also with you. Let us sing our thanks to God. It is right to give God thanks and praise. Blessed are you, Creator of the universe. From old you have led your people by night and day. May the light of your Christ make our darkness bright, for your